All right, so what credit score do you need to finance a food truck? So if you are looking to create a food truck business, but you don't necessarily have the money on hand, and you're looking to create a food truck and get financed to do it, well, guess what? We're gonna go over some specifics on how to get financed and what type of credit score do you need, at least on the minimum. And welcome to Food Truck Freaks. This is YouTube's brand new food truck entrepreneur channel, and we're gonna dive into that right now. All right, so welcome back to Food Truck Freaks. This video is going to be all about what credit score do you need to finance a food truck. There is a lot of food entrepreneurs out there who are looking for food trucks and creating one and starting one from scratch, but many of you, like so many others, definitely have a challenge with your credit, and trying to get financed and get a small business loan is not exactly something that's going to be easy to do. But we're going to give you a few tips and pointers and give you some numbers as to what is the minimum. So you definitely want to stay tuned all the way through the end of this video so I can give you some stats, some actual hard data, so you understand what is going to be needed. All right, so how to obtain the most favorable food truck financing. So make a decision on how much money you will need to borrow. So obviously, yes, starting with a great business plan for your food truck. Sit down and calculate how much money do you need. Now, you're not going to know exactly, of course. When I started my food business nearly 12 years ago, this was something that we didn't know offhand, and you know as you go, actually, is the best way to do it. But get an idea, get a rough idea of how much you need to borrow. So make a list of the expenses that you want to pay with the loan proceeds, okay? It could be a big one-time expenditure, such as financing for a food trailer or a commercial oven, or it could even be an ongoing investment, such as inventory or supplies, which of course you need every single day. So the purpose of the loan and the size of the loan can help you narrow down the food truck loan options when you're looking for a food truck to find out which one is the most suitable and what will be your requirements specifically for that loan. Next up, determine what form of a loan you should apply for and how much you should borrow. Now, keep in mind there are loans, there are grants, there are small business grants, there's SBA loans, Small Business Administration loans, and quite an extensive list. So you want to figure out which one you should apply for. You don't necessarily qualify for every single one of them because obviously based on that minimum credit score, some of those loans will not apply, okay? So you can select between general financing and specialized financing, or even depending on your requirements. For example, you could even get one, determine how much to purchase of your food truck. You can actually get one between $50,000 to $250,000. A larger equipment loan may be more appropriate than a general microloan in this case, okay? So if you require financing for general recurring expenses such as supplies or even inventory and such, a company line of credit may actually be a better option than an actual loan, which gives you a lump sum and immediately starts charging you interest on the lump sum. Yes, by the way, that's how we actually operated our food business as well, is that we had actually a line of credit, which was fantastic. It was kind of like a credit card in a sense, so we could just use it as we needed, not necessarily all at one time. Now, there is going to be a quite extensive list of paperwork, so you got to organize the paperwork related to your company and the type of company loan that you're looking to get. So they may, if it's a bank or if it's some type of a credit lender, they're going to require quite a bit of paperwork. So this is the type of loan, by the way, really quick note, that it may not necessarily apply to you if you're just getting started, or if you did get started and you're looking to get additional funding to operate it through the season. This type of loan may be good, okay? Now, depending on whether or not the loan is secured, you may also be required to provide collateral. Yes, they may actually, if you've already started and you've got a truck or you've got some equipment, some lenders may use that actually as collateral for the loan since the credit score is such a minimum. And we're about to get to that in just one second, the minimum credit score that's required. Now, the vendor may also be required to provide an equipment quote and or financing is for a specialized purpose such as equipment loans. Now, you definitely want to check around for the most competitive rates and different types of features that different banks offer, because they do offer quite a bit of different variations as far as the interest rates and even the types of loans that they can give you. So banks often impose more stringent regulations, but they also tend to offer more attractive terms and interest rates Online lenders may have more flexible standards, but they do tend to charge a higher interest rates as a result of the lower overhead, okay? Now, examine your qualifications to determine which type of financing is most appropriate for your needs and circumstances, because every single food truck business, of course, has a variety of needs. You want to evaluate where you are personally as far as your finances. You want to also take into consideration the type of truck. I personally would recommend you go with, if you're just starting, get yourself a used truck. Find one that's in a good condition, but newer trucks don't necessarily mean that you're going to put out more money and get a brand new truck and everything's going to be much smoother. There are a lot of used trucks out there that are already equipped specifically with the type of food business that you want to operate in your food truck, which makes it easier to do. Here's an example. Let's say you were getting into tacos or burritos and those types of food items. There's a food truck all over the country, food trucks that are up for sale that have the type of equipment needed to produce that type of product. Remember, they are not always equipped with the same equipment, so there are specialized equipment to make specific types of food. So obviously, if you're doing a food truck that does baked goods, like cookies or muffins or cupcakes, and you do focus on desserts, you may not necessarily need the type of equipment to make tacos, and then, back and forth and so on. So finding a truck that's already equipped is going to be your better bet. And if you get something that's used, it's actually going to be even better, because that'll give you an opportunity to not have to retrofit or even customize the inside, okay? So finding that out and checking out what is available as far as the different types of options, as we just mentioned, is good. And the minimum credit score for any of these types of loans is around 650. So if you wanted to know what is the minimum, Damien, of the credit score, 650 is normally where a lot of lenders will look at as far as going down as far as the minimum credit score and what would be required. So if you're below 650, work on your credit at least for a few months or a couple months and then apply for it, because if you do something below it, that doesn't necessarily mean that you can't get a loan, but I can tell you this. The lower the credit score, the higher the interest rate, okay? Because they're gonna look at you at a bigger risk. The higher your credit score, the lower the interest rate. So it's one or the other. And if you have a lower score, you'll have a tendency to be offered higher interest rates, which I wouldn't recommend taking, because if you don't have a food truck up and running with a proven concept, what they normally call social proof, you definitely are going to be throwing money at a potential disaster, because if your food truck doesn't pan out because you just don't know for sure if it's working, then that's going to be a bigger problem. So if you have any questions about what credit score do you need to finance a food truck, please do give us a big thumbs up and give us a question, comment down below, and we will get to it as soon as we can. And definitely subscribe to our channel. We are building this out. We also have Marketing Food Online, which is our other YouTube channel, and a handful of other food entrepreneur channels here on YouTube. And I'll see you guys on our next video.